It's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, let's go see if we can make this little kitty purr. Hey, sweet cheeks. Got an invite I'd like to extend your way.
Oh my God. What is that smell? Oh.
That's the smell of desire, my lady.
God, no, it smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food. Oh, excuse me.
Desire smells like that to some people.
What is that? It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
Ahoy, tent pirates, plant parents, conscious consumers, and the morbidly curious. Welcome to Cultivation Conversation, a podcast for growers, by growers. Come chat with our hosts, Captain Autoflower, the Real Green Monster, and myself, Girl Go Grow. Grab a bouquet of your favorite flowers, apparatus of choice, and don't forget the fire while I tell you about the special companies that help keep this ship afloat. We are busy people, and we demand the best for our plants, so all three of us automate our grows with autopots. Available in over 63 countries, gravity-powered autopot systems rely on no pumps, no timers, and no power to operate. This plant-driven automated watering is so precise, it will reduce consumption of feed while increasing yield. An effective and efficient way to delegate a little responsibility. Let your plants feed themselves. Use code CC10 at autopot-usa.com. If quality is the name of your game, look no further than AC Infinity. AC Infinity's grow tents, lights, accessories, and ventilation systems offer reliability and affordability along with total environmental control. Use code CULTIVATION on acinfinity.com to save even more. Frass Valley produces the highest quality superworm frass. Naturally strengthen your plants and enhance their resistance to pests and disease. Use code CC10 at frassvalley.com. We are big fans of mass hydroponics. Whether you're a local in Massachusetts or accessing their full online catalog, they are your one-stop shop for all of your growing needs. Use code CC10 at mass-hydro.com.
What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? How are you?
Good, brother. What's going on?
Hey, my darlings. Yay, Wednesday.
Doing great. Better than I deserve, in fact. Welcome, Microbe Life Hydro. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. We are thrilled.
Cultivation Conversation. We are honored to be back. Thank you for having us. We had a great time the last time, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man. And by the way, we are streaming to a couple different services right now. YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're listening to us. If this is the first time you've heard us, we are a podcast for growers, by growers. We focus on the home grow side of things, and we like to get into the details. We like to think of ourselves as like the advanced level cannabis cultivation courses, perhaps. I don't know. Is that true, guys?
Cannabis 401.
With the AP course?
A little bit of humor involved, some technical shit. Cover a wide range of topics.
This is cannabis college prep here.
Well, hey, if you are a tent pirate, a home grower trying to grow the best of the best to compete with the big boys, which I believe home growers are capable of producing the best cannabis on earth. Why? Because we have the attention to detail. We can care for each individual plant like it was our baby. You know, takes that level of attention to each plant for it to reach their full potential. I just don't think you get that in many professional facilities. So, home growers for the win.
Hell yeah, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
With love.
So yeah, what are you guys smoking on tonight?
I'll go first. I'm smoking on some anaphylaxis again. I'm out of it, and I don't have the cut anymore. A little bit disappointed. I'm gonna have to.
What happened to your cut?
I lost a big portion of my library when I had to move. Just wasn't in the cards.
Gotcha.
When you ask people to take care of things for you, and they promise you they will, and they leave your plants unwatered for 4 days. Shit happens. So look, at the end of the day, I've said it before and I'll say it 1,000 times. You are responsible for your grow, nobody else. So I should have had them on like an autopod setup with like a flood tray. It was just my stupidity, really, depending on other people, you know. So shit happens, but yeah, I mean, most of that stuff I was able to get back because I have friends that I've given the shit to, and I was able to get a lot of my stuff back, but it still kind of sucked, you know, starting over.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's heartbreaking.
Hey, it happens. Everything happens for a reason.
Rough.
So I've made some room in the stable for some new stuff, so tested some other stuff, you know. Maybe a blessing in disguise. But I definitely need to get that anaphylaxis cut back because I enjoy it. It's a good it's a very strong sativa, but it has just enough indica in there with that peanut butter breath that I enjoy it a lot. Yeah.
Word. Talk to Mass Medical. I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
What about you, Cap?
Oh,
what's out of the trove? Yeah.
Well, I'm still enjoying my recent harvest. Tonight I am working through some of the headband crossed with sour diesel. That's from Katsu Genetics. Super old school stuff. You know, he's been on a couple other podcasts. When I've heard him speak, he's a breed for effects type of guy. You know, he like doesn't even choose a keeper until he's dried it, smoked it, shared it with friends, gotten feedback on it. And it's like, which one got you the most effed up, you know, which I appreciate, because when you get to that, like, professional level stoner, like I like to consider myself, you need something that's a heavy hitter.
Professional level stoner.
That's funny.
You need a heavy hitter, guys. But for sure, no, it's great. It's mostly sativa too, so like it's definitely has that fluffy kind of texture that I remember from my sour diesels of the past. Yeah, I'm thrilled with it, guys. Thrilled. Super terpy too, which we're gonna get into it all tonight, guys. That's why we have Microbe Life Hydro on tonight. I owe a lot of my success to this recent harvest to your full lineup of products. These plants got out of control. Like, really out of control, man. And you know,
that makes us happy.
They thrived the whole time despite being huge, and like after trying this TERPS Plus, man, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in this product. So definitely want to talk about it. But first, G3, what do you got?
I've got Purple Pangerana from Alabria.
Ooh.
Yay, girl loves the purples. She's great. And I found now she makes me very kind of talkative. So she's a good show strain now. She wasn't before, but now she is. Gotta love the cure. Gotta love the cure.
Yeah. For sure. Do you partake, Brett, or?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's to be in this community and to develop products for this community and not partake, I think would be offensive, right? So no, yes.
To some people,
questionable.
Perhaps.
It's questionable.
Questionable, maybe.
So yes, of course. However, right now I have not, because I wanted to, you know, really be in a very, very, very clear frame of mind to answer any questions that the three of you brought to me. But I will tell you, the last few days has been a bubblegum dominant strain, which it's been fantastic. I mean, there was a cross in there, and I don't remember the cross that was in there with the bubblegum, but it really it just knocked you out, couch lock, and made me hungry. But I'll tell you, it was fantastic.
Nice. Nice.
You gotta love
awesome.
those that give you that the munchies.
Oh, it did. I had to stay away from the fridge.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been using the Photo Plus for years, and it's funny, kind of a funny story. So it was NECAN 2018, I believe, and it was Sunday. It was the end of the think and I just stumbled upon your booth, and I'm like, oh, I've heard of your product before. Do you have any samples? He's like, I'm fresh out of samples. I actually think it might have been you. I'm not sure. Like, oh, we're fresh out of samples. Sorry. And I turn around, I'm walking away, and the guy came up to me, I think it was you, I'm not sure, with a bag with a full quart of Photo Plus. He's like, here, try this. I think you'll love it. And I've never looked back. I noticed an immediate difference in my plants. And it's like probably the one product I will not grow without at all.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And it probably
agree
was me at the
100%.
show at NECAN. We did a few of them back when they were at the Heinz Convention Center in Boston.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
typically, I would feel very bad at the end of an event if we were out of samples. So that sounds very, sounds very on point for either myself, one of my colleagues, to run up to the person looking to cultivate and just say, here's a larger bottle. Just go, take it, run with it. But
Yeah, and
it's
I've
a
been
familiar
buying
story.
5-gallon jugs ever since, and I love it. And, one of my favorite uses, really, with it is as a foliar feed in veg. I like the next day after you spray the plants with that, like a diluted solution of that. It's unreal. Like the response
Yeah.
that you see.
The praying leaves.
Yeah, and they just like, if you have an issue where maybe like your nutrient uptake isn't 100% there and you notice a slight deficiency, it seems to just be able to correct it within 24 to 48 hours right away. And yeah, I love it. The smell, it's grown on me. I've kind of come fond of it in a way.
It grows on everyone. That's the craziest thing, right? It grows after someone's introduced you for a while. That's so common. You know what? They'll say to me or someone else on the team, and they'll say, we kind of like it now, and we hear it all the time. But the product does smell, but the plants love it. We love it, and I'm glad you've seen the results that you've had with it. And for any of the growers that are listening right now in your grow tents, there's really, like I say, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, right? There's no wrong way to apply Photo. You could apply the Photo Plus as a foliar spray. You could put it right and feed it, hand water it right into, if you are growing in soil, if you are using, auto pots, reservoirs, drip systems, you could feed it that way also. So it's very, very diverse in its applications, that it could be used in many different ways. So, and it won't work better one way or the other, just to let you know. It's all grower preference. I can't sit here and tell you, oh, you know what? If you use it in foliar, it's going to work more effectively. It will work the same no matter how you use it. It comes down to preference of the cultivator and how you care for your plants.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So, like Captain was saying, or pre-show, that you guys have a whole laundry list of products. One of them that I think is taking off is the TERPS Plus. You want to talk a little bit about the TERPS Plus?
Before we get into that real quick, I wanted to key in on their would you call it your flagship product, Photo Plus?
Absolutely. Put us on the map. It is the flagship product that we have. 100%.
It's a good way to describe it.
Cool.
It's amazing. It's the only thing allowed in my res besides water.
Ooh, thank you.
Amen to that.
No joke, and I won't grow without it.
Agreed. Like, and it is. I would concur that it is maybe the product that I won't grow without at this point. the results speak for themselves. That's why, it pays for you to be at a convention handing out samples, because like one use and you're just like, all right, I see what it does. The plants are happy. I'm happy. Like that's how I operate,
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about the events. That some products that companies put out, you can't sample. It's just impossible. You can't sample. But we are fortunate enough that we could give out these samples, and that there is enough, and a little goes a long way for a cultivator who is unfamiliar with the brand or doesn't believe in biology. They felt they've been burnt by biology in the past, which happens. There are other products out there from other manufacturers, just they don't work the way ours does, where I can say, hey, listen, I would like you to try this, and it'll actually work. It's not just giving them a 4-ounce bottle, a 6-ounce bottle, and it won't be enough to treat a 4x4 grow or a 10x10 grow. That you will see results even if you treat it on one plant. And that really is what got us going 14 years ago, sampling the entire United States. And we didn't have a sale for the first 2 years. And that's what allowed us to become who we were within this community and industry. So I'm glad the samples had worked for everyone.
Wow.
Man, you knew what you were doing when you started
That
handing
is-
out those samples. Like,
That's faith in your products.
I knew what I was doing, but the owners of the
Crazy
company
level.
were like, hey, we haven't sold anything the first 2 years. What are you doing? And I said,
just wait
"Hey,
till their bottles run out, guys."
I said, we
We're
got to
seeding,
get
we're
it
seeding.
out there. Yes, those were funny meetings. Hey, Brett, you've been out there for 2 years. You've given away thousands and thousands and thousands of samples, tens of thousands of dollars worth of product, and what's going on? And the beginning of year 3, it all clicked.
Man,
And it's
that's
really
cool.
a reasonably priced product as well, which kind of separates it from the pack when you talk
Yeah,
about other products.
for sure. Microbes can be pricey.
Like I was asked today about like Tribus. Like there's nothing wrong with Tribus. It's a good product, but it's definitely not as complete as Photo Plus, and it's 3 times the cost.
Yeah, it's a solid product. Any grower who uses it, it's a solid product. There are certainly differentiators in our Photo Plus and the consortium that we have that has capabilities to outperform the other microbes that are being offered by other companies. So, a lot of the microbes have the bacillus strains, and a lot of home growers will try and make their own bacillus. However, the real, key and the secret to the sauce in a cheesy way is the fermentation process that our microbes go through in a 5 to 7 day fermentation process in our grow room, and the ability for many different bacillus strains to cohabitate together. And specifically, what sets us apart from any other microbial company out there are its photosynthetic capabilities. So you could have, bacillus strains from dry products to liquid products, but it's our photosynthetic capability that really puts us on another playing field that the other products don't have. And then when we were exploring the market at launch, we were looking at the prices of the other products out there, and some companies are still there. Some companies might have, withered away over time, but we wanted to make sure that, the home growers could afford the best technology out there. So we didn't want to outprice ourselves or gouge the market. We wanted to do it right from the start. That's one of the missions of the company. We want to be the most recognizable microbial input for all growing, whether it's cannabis, whether it's hemp, whether it's microgreens, fruits and vegetables. And you have to start and you have to treat the market fairly and not gouge. And we took that approach and we used those principles. And, thankfully, 14 years later, we have probably the number one microbial input in the United States.
And by all rights, for a product with such unique capabilities, especially the photosynthetic ability of the product, which is one of the reasons I love it so much as a foliar, like realistically, the product could be double the price and I would still buy it. Like, you know what
Yes.
I mean? Because it really is just that powerful.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
No, we're not raising
What are you
prices. We haven't raised prices in a few years. I mean, even
No,
with,
I was just going to say, I've noticed your prices have stayed consistent with the inflation and gouging that 99% of companies have taken place in the shrinkflation,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we made it our
Uh,
business not to raise. And listen, I mean, listen, everyone knows what's going on with our economy over the year, those few years, especially since the pandemic. Now it's over, but labels are up, caps were up, bottles were up. Getting all different bottles were a problem for a while, and we did everything we can to maintain the pricing structure. I mean, the growers have come to rely on us now for this product, and we respect our, I hate the customers or the cultivators. We have to, maintain that, responsibility not to change what we have.
That's great, man. One of the things I love most about it, you mentioned its versatility. It can be applied any which way you want. I mean, Monster likes the foliar feed. I do that in veg pretty regularly. G3 likes to put it in the res the whole time. Like I guess I do that too. Like I kind of use both approaches.
Definitely.
Because it's you can use it however you want. If you just like top water it in, like that's cool too. But yeah, in the reservoir specifically, it has this unique capability of cleaning the lines, right? And the reservoir itself.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So one of the benefits of the microbes that are in there is that they're waste degraders also. There are waste degraders within the formula and the recipe. And they especially like to eat organic matter, so and excess nutrients. So if you have a reservoir, or and then obviously you have the lines to the reservoir feeding, the rest of the system. Once the microbes develop within that system, it will, the first question is, oh, will it clog anything? Absolutely not. A big side benefit is the microbes will start to break down the organic matter that build up within the lines, and also that could build up in the res or
biofilm.
the biofilm. And that's part of our history as a company, where we first started 30 years ago, treating open waterways in the environment with microbes that we produce that would help prevent algae from growing, would keep the nutrients, for algae to grow in a pond or a river. You need sunlight, you need carbon dioxide, and you need nutrients. And the nutrients could come in form of, runoff from fertilizer on a lawn, if there's fish waste in there, or if there's, bird waste going into it. And the microbes were waste degraders. They would break down the nutrients, they would break down the organic matter in the waste, and then the algae would have nothing to eat. So if the algae had nothing to eat, they would die, and you would have a natural way to keep a pond or lake clean. So our history really goes back to the aquatic side until we jumped around 20 years ago into the commercial agriculture side for traditional, soy, wheat, corn, traditional crops. And then, so our experience and history came from the aquatic environment. So having our microbes in a reservoir or lines in a aquaponic system, a DWC system, a regular hydroponic system, it's just, it fits seamlessly as a side benefit for that. So if anyone out there had any questions, or were thinking, any of your listeners were thinking, well, will it clog my lines? The Photo Plus nor any of the products that we produce will clog any of your lines or any of or create any issues in a reservoir. It just won't do it. It'll
I
actually
wish I
help
knew
clean it.
that years ago, because before we had Scott on last time, I was using things to clean my lines, things like Cleanse or other products, right? And I would
Hmm.
always have this like mixed feeling about it, like, man, like I know I'm killing most of the
Yeah,
microbes
it's like
in
a
my
nuke to
rhizosphere.
all your
Yeah,
microbes,
but
right?
like I can't have my lines clog either, right? So it was like always like this thing I felt conflicted about. And when he had mentioned that, I was like, wow. I gotta be honest with you, I really quite honestly didn't believe that it would work as well as it did. But I gave it a shot. I stopped using Cleanse, and I just stuck with the Photo Plus and the Res, and it's worked amazing. Um,
Well, I'm
Flawless, really.
I'm glad you gave it the chance, because the bottom line is, a lot of people, they don't want to believe it at first. We it's a
I
we
was
have a
already adding it to my Res though. That's the thing, that like that's the kick in the balls. It's like,
yep.
dude, you never would have had those problems. You didn't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if
It's like,
anyone's using any products to clean out their lines, we let wait 48 hours and then add the microbe back in there. Obviously some of these products out there could kill, will kill the microbials, and they will, harm any of the rhizosphere. But hey, listen, if you are going to run any of those cleansing products, just wait 48 hours and reintroduce the microbes back in it. But that is, how many times in my career, here at the, with Microbe Life, cultivators will come in and say, I've heard it before. It doesn't work. I've used microbes before. It doesn't work. I've tried everything. It doesn't work. And then that's, it's always, being brought up, and we just say, here, you got to try it. Once you try it, give me a call back. And I still don't think in all of these years I ever got a call back from anyone that said, hey, the product didn't perform.
yeah, I've had people not willing to give it its full shot because it smells like it has a putrid smell, and they're like, "Oh, my wife bitched about it." But the thing that people don't realize is once you add it to, let's say, your reservoir, right, the smell does dissipate within a few hours. Like you don't smell it anymore. Like even when I add it to my res, like I could pop open the lid, and I don't really. I mean, I might get a faint whiff of it, but it dissipates pretty quickly.
Yeah, it'll flash off rather quickly, and that's the one thing that that we also tell the network and the community. Hey, listen, we're very upfront. It does smell. It smells like rotten eggs.
Oh my
It smells
gosh.
like sulfur, and that is the process that actually keeps it's a food source for the microbes. So the microbes don't cannibalize in the bottle, and it gives it the extended shelf life that we claim, and that it could sit on the shelf for 2 years, and still not be affected at all. So the smell is actually a part of the process, and it's a food source for the microbes, but it flashes off. And like we talked in the pre-show anyway, it's just wild how people just end up loving smelling the product. I mean, it's like a call. It's like, on TikTok for a while, or Instagram. I forgot what it was from what show, but they did the whistle, where like the people would whistle and like they knew something was coming, like I forgot what the whistle call was. I'm going off on a tangent, but I took the similar thing, and I'll be at a trade show. I'll open up a bottle, and then you'll start hearing I smell Photo Plus.
Just people coming over like,
so
someone opened a fresh bottle.
Yeah, it's like, where's the Microbe Life booth? We could smell you. So it's a calling card for us.
So a question we get a lot, you actually mentioned shelf life. Like, is there a visual cue as far as like when a bottle's not good anymore?
Yes. All right. So visual cue. What a great question. All right. So as big as the smell is, as a characteristic of the product, we internally go by color. So the product really could lose its smell and still be 100% okay. It's when the product turns whitish gray and starts to smell like burnt rubber. That's when the Photo Plus has turned, meaning it's just not viable microbes anymore. But it doesn't mean that it's poisonous, doesn't mean that it's toxic, doesn't mean that it hurts anything. Let's just say you called me up and you were like, oh, crap, Brett, I just used a bad bottle of Photo Plus. I'm going to say it's just basically feeding water to the plant. That's what it's back to, right? So, and typically what happens with that and how that happens, if it's stored improperly, cold doesn't bother the microbes. This bottle could freeze and thaw out and have the same efficacy from the day that we grew it in our grow room. It's really intense heat over an extensive period of time. I'm talking 119 degrees or higher for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks could cook the bacteria that's in here. But overall, if the smell goes away, it's okay. We want it to be lightish red, pink, purple, and that is the indicator. So if anyone out there has,
is it the color gray combined with the smell of rubber, or is it just like if you notice one or the other?
No, it's typically both combined. It's usually not one or the other. It's usually, hey, it's whitish gray in color and it smells like burnt rubber. It won't smell like burnt rubber and stay purple, red, pink. It's usually the both.
And interesting, burnt rubber.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's still safe. I mean, so if you use it, there's no harm, no foul.
Do you think there'd be any benefit at that point with the product? I mean, has something beneficial survived?
Yes, there always is. I mean, if I tested it and I batch tested and I had it sent back to a lab, we're going to find microbial counts, but it's not going to meet the specs that we have on the side of the bottle. So at that point, I would just, not from a salesman side of it, get a new bottle.
Well, if you're using it like you should, you should go through a bottle in more than enough time to not have to deal with that kind of a thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things though. Like I've personally ran into people like, "Oh, I heard you talk about it on the podcast. I had a bottle laying around." You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people say like it doesn't smell like it used to, like it loses its pungency.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they're almost like sad about it. Like, we all learn to like love that intense smell, and it's like at least it makes me feel something.
Yeah, once you crack that seal, it'll lessen the shelf life from 6 to 12 months. And once you crack the seal, the smell will start to fade over time. So that is also something very normal about the product.
Okay.
Cool.
Good to know.
Cool. So, man, you got so many other products though. Like that's the thing. Like I was getting into
jumped
it.
ahead of us.
I know. I wanted to give their flagship product its due.
Probably for the best.
And like that's a thing. Like, listen, it doesn't matter who you are: organic guy, salt guy, home grower, commercial cultivator. Like, you will benefit from grabbing yourself some Photo Plus.
Oh, okay.
I don't care what
Before
other
we transition though. I
Yep.
just popped in my mind. I know that the product has a different label and a different name in other states. If you wanted to touch on that real quick.
Yeah, very quickly, we take the time and the investment dollar-wise to register the product in every state in the country. And every state Department of Agriculture has different regulations, different rules of what they like for labeling. So the bottom line is about 45 states in the country accepted the label and approved the label for Photosynthesis Plus. There are some states in the country that are a little bit more stringent, and
Let me guess, California.
California's one, Oregon's one, California,
How did I know?
Oregon, Oklahoma, Illinois. So the bottom line is, let's say there's Photosynthesis Plus, but in California, it's labeled as just Plus C. When we went to register the product, they didn't even want the name Photosynthesis as part of the name. I wish I could answer that, but that's the business I'm in. So we have to produce a different label. It's same on the inside, called Plus C. In Oregon, it's called Photosynthesis Plus O. In Illinois, it's Photo Plus I. In Oklahoma, it's Photo Plus OK. And the same issue with some of our other products that I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But that's just the proper way that you need to do this to sell into the different states of the country. So we make sure to do it.
If I'm correct, you also had to remove the foliar feed instructions from the label altogether, right? Because of the fact that people are, So I get that question a lot. Like, hey, you've talked about foliar feed, and I don't see that on the label. I'm like, you just got to kind of trust me. And when they ask me for a dosage, it's kind of funny. It's the same way. Like, hey, how much do you add to your reservoir? Like, somebody likened it to like that. Like Muppets with the chef just throwing shit everywhere. Like,
Swedish chef, like, a little dish, a little bit of that.
That's just me, like with the Photo Plus. I just pour it. Like, how much do you add? I don't
measure
know.
that shit with my heart.
I just
you
pour it.
you can't overdose, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at our labels and the dosage rates, either on the bottle or on a catalog of ours or our website, they are suggested dosage rates. They are what we know will get you very solid results using that product, with keeping you from looking at the rate and saying, I'm not going to buy this because I'll be through a bottle in a week and I'll never buy this again. I just can't afford it. So we have it dosed at a way where you will see great results. But if you want to even push it and you want to, I'm going to go as far as saying you could, double it. It won't harm the plant. So the microbes actually get inside the plant circulatory system, and they're already awake. They're adult bacteria, opposed to some other microbes out there that they're spore forming. They're dormant. They need to first wake up the environment. This bacteria they're alive. They're ready to go. And what they do is they start to assess. They're very smart, these little microbes. They assess the environment they're in, and then they start to see how much they need to multiply and cell divide. And then they go through a growth phase. Then they go through a log phase. Then they go through a death phase. So when they go, that's why you apply it at least once a week. At least once a week, because all microbes go through a death phase, and you want to make sure that you have the level of microbes in there to continue the success and health that your plants benefit from it. But you could certainly push it harder with the dosage. We just want to make it where cultivators know that they're not going to go broke using the product, and they still will get optimal results.
Cool. Man, real quick, we got a question from Porkaholic. Love the name, by the way, Porkaholic. Is it available internationally?
In some countries, yes. So in the UK, it's available. We have in the United Kingdom, we have distribution in Spain. We have distribution in Germany. So yes, there is international support of the product.
I believe it's not
Depends on your
available in
country.
Australia. I know that comes
Correct.
up a
It's
lot.
not available in Australia. There's the Equus, which is their Department of Ag, so to speak, their EPA, and we just at this point, with no boots on the ground of our sales team in Australia, it would just be until we could do it right, have a team on the ground in Australia, it would be very hard to just get the product going, hoping that it just spreads. So we try and at least market the product where we have traffic on the floor that could go into the stores and support the brick and mortar, could support different on-site for larger or mid-size, large-scale cultivation. So would I love to be in Australia? We sell other products in Australia, but for this particular market, we're just not. We the bandwidth is just not there yet for us.
Mm.
So, just to be clear, you won't see it in Australia anytime soon.
No. Nope.
Okay. Yeah. I actually know somebody that tried to ship a bottle and it just
Did it get there? How
caught
did it get there?
No, it landed, but they figured it out
That's
and
funny.
snagged it, seized it. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that going to hurt at the end of the day?
Listen, it's a lot of countries. I mean, even in Canada has been an issue for us. So, for example, with Canada, we sell other brands of ours that are for other markets, for traditional lawn and garden markets, for backyard ponds, bacteria to get rid of, clean up the ponds, or even microbes that we produce for the septic tank market. We have microbes that break down the waste in septic tanks. We could sell that all in Canada. It's very different registering products for Canada for products that go in water applications. So we have product all over Canada on the different brands, but the Microbe Life brand, which is technically, in their eyes, for either soil or hydroponic or plant, it's a different process and it's very difficult. And we started the process years ago, maybe even 9-10 years ago. We got pretty close, and then the regulations changed. The investment was going to get greater dollar-wise to get the product in there. So we pushed back and said, you know what, maybe now's not the time. And then, to even get it testing, and don't hold me to this, it was something where your product needed to be tested on a certain amount of farms in X amount of provinces over a course of certain years. And we just said, you know what, there's enough to conquer and to get this product in the hands of like-minded growers who care about the environment and using microbes in the United States. And to this day, if I could tell you how many emails we get to the website, how many inquiries come through from our direct messages on Instagram, hey, can I get it in Canada? Hey, can I get it in Canada? It's very frustrating because we could sell our other brands for other markets in Canada for aquatic applications with no problem. But the process to get these items into Canada has been daunting, and it's discussed all the time between our compliance department, our lab, our lab team, and myself, and it's very frustrating. So as far as Australia and as close as Canada, some countries just don't, they don't make it easy.
Canada's weird. I mean, they consider like vitamin D a drug. I don't know if you know that.
Really?
No, I'm serious. I used to work for a supplement company, and we had customers in Canada, and they used to buy like 12, 24, 100 bottles at a time. Then there was a law passed saying we couldn't ship them more than 3 bottles of vitamin D at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it's all different. It's all different.
Yeah, depends on the country.
It all depends.
Well, all right. Real quick, too, before we move on to, again, you got so many other cool products too that we haven't even touched on. I know. A lot of people are here to talk about TERPS Plus. Well, another big question I get is about the organic differentiation.
Yep.
Like, from my understanding, like, for all intents and purposes, the product is organic. It just is not labeled as such because of another kind of like red tape issue with the labeling and the licensing and that kind of thing.
You're spot on,
right?
Captain. You're spot on. To make a very long story short, the first product we came out with was the Photosynthesis Plus. It is considered all natural, says it on the label. We're allowed to say it on the label. It can't harm humans, dogs, cats, pets, fish. I mean, it can't harm anything. However, a few of the raw materials that we use to produce the Photosynthesis Plus do not show up on the OMRI list of approved, let's just say, raw materials, right? So we couldn't get approved for OMRI with that. So we went with all natural. And we fortunately sold a whole bunch of it over the years. I mean, it's our flagship item. We sell a lot of the product. And the organic growers, the ones that like to be organic, and they don't have to prove an organic input, they understood they could use the regular Photosynthesis Plus. But if you were a true grower or a licensed grower of any of the tier licenses, or you were just dialed in with pure certified organic products, you couldn't use the Photo Plus. So we developed the organic Photosynthesis Plus, right? So where every single raw material that's used to make the organic version is OMRI approved. It's going to work the same. It's going to look the same. It's going to smell the same. What's the difference? The cost. It costs us as a manufacturer to produce it about 15% more because the organic ingredients are more money. So all it is about a 15% price difference, price increase if you needed the organic photo over the regular photo. So if you're a true organic cultivator, you have the OMRI certified organic photo. And then, of course, we have the organic for California, the organic for Oregon, the organic. So, I mean, it becomes tedious for the distributors who sell our product, knowing where they could sell what product and what label into each state. You know, even our website has to be geographically coded. So let's just say, I know you're in Pennsylvania, you're in Massachusetts, I'm in New York. So the site will read your IP address, and it will show you only the products that are okay for you to purchase in your state. So if you're in California, you go to our website, microblifehydro.com. I say that with a goof because it was just such a perfect plug. I said that laughing. Yeah, welcome to. Yeah,
you are
right.
welcome to.
So if you're in California and go to our site, you're only going to see the Plus C, the Nourish C, and only items that you could buy in California. If you're in New York, you don't see the Plus C. You see all the approved products. So it becomes
Now, what about Amazon?
same thing.
Because I know your product.
Yeah, so our products are on Amazon also, and on the back end of Amazon, our Amazon team has to set rules within the Amazon system that these Plus C can only.
That must be a logistical fucking.
You're not kidding. Between working, it's between producing
really.
stocking all the different labels, knowing, and I'll be upfront. We sell way more regular Photo Plus than organic Photo Plus. I mean, we sell way more of it, so we have to just keep the label stocked, and we keep the bottles on label, knowing where it's going. So it's just it's daunting. But we love what we do, and no matter what hurdle comes our way, we try our best to figure it out. But it's definitely could be confusing for growers. I put a post on Instagram the other day, and of Plus C. It was a grower in California using Plus C, again, Photosynthesis Plus, and they put it they put this on everything. And I posted it, I shared it because I thought it was great. And I got inquiries right away. Is this new? Is this a newer version of Photo Plus? And we try and educate everyone, just saying no, they're different state labels for like what we talked about. But it's daunting. Distributors, they have to stock the different labels. Distributors will ship into Oregon and Oklahoma, the hotbeds for the cannabis cultivation. And it's something that has to be watch closely with inventory and make sure that we have everything ready to go for what comes our way, for what states it's going to.
That's wild. That's nuts. They make you jump through those hoops. Man, I want to answer your question, GQ Jeffrey, but I'm afraid we answered all that at the beginning of the show. That's all relevant stuff for sure. I'm going to just say this. Yes, no, because the product is actually good for that, and yes.
Yes, no, yes.
So yeah, watch the beginning of the show that you missed. We talked a good deal about that. And so without further ado, guys, I want to kind of do a seg here into using this little organic conversation, right? Because from my understanding as well, your TERPS Plus product, which is your newest,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, cool. It is not.
It is
organic.
not. It is a synthetic product. It is one of the very few synthetic products that we bring to market. And that usually is a very big decision for us internally as a company because we're mission based to use biology, to use natural items. But knowing how safe this product is, even though it's a synthetic, knowing it could be used on traditional, crop agriculture too, and knowing how well it helps the terpene profiles express themselves, we couldn't say no to bringing this product to market. So the TERPS Plus, which is here, is our, it's a synthetic product. It is not organic by any means, but it is totally safe, and there's no traces of any product in any flower, any fruit and vegetable that's grown with this. And the results are truly staggering on how well the product works. So I know everyone here was excited to talk about it. So, you drive the conversation. You let me know what you want to know about the TERPS Plus.
Before, Kat, I just have one question. Yeah. Before, so obviously you have this internal conflict, right? Because it's a synthetic product. It's not really in your wheelhouse. Like, how did it come about?
Great question. So it is the one product that we actually license. We did not develop the technology behind TERPS Plus. We have a very large customer of ours on the commercial agriculture side that buys, they buy a lot of our microbes and they distribute it globally to crop agriculture. And they love our product, they love our microbes, and they are also, their own, technology company. And they came to us and said, listen, we really believe in your microbials so much. We know that you have a whole line called Microbe Life Hydro for, cannabis and hemp cultivation amongst regular traditional fruits and vegetables. They said they had no business cracking into the cannabis market, and they told us they had this technology of this product that could increase terpene profiles, and would it be something that we'd be interested in, producing at our facility, licensing their technology. So we listened to what they had to say. We took a look at all the white papers, and this product was developed between the company and the University of California, Los Alamos, which is a tremendous research facility out of California. They had a lot to do with the atom bomb, too, if you look them up. So they are...
Yeah, well, I was going to say, the same Los Alamos about that Oppenheimer
Yes.
movie?
The same lab helped develop this product, and we did our own testing, and we were looking at the product, and we said, holy crap, this is the real deal. And it's something that we knew that the market would crave, having a alternative to some other products that are out there. And not only is it an alternative, the pricing points were better, and it's a different mode of action. It works differently than the other products that are out there that are for, terpene, increased terpene profiles. So after researching it and looking at it for about 2 years, we said, you know what? It's a little against the all natural approach, but we are going to roll with this because the community needs it. And the company that developed it with the University of California didn't know how to position it. And they trusted us and our network and our authority. So, with the growers that we could make this happen. So we brought on and we, brought out the TERPS Plus. And, just like anything, the first, year and a half, was, a little bit slow out the gate. It was actually probably the worst time ever to release and come out with a brand new product, especially in our industry over the last 2 years when there's been so much consolidation and there's been so much change within the industry. And we said, but we're still going to do it. And we did it. And everything, again, about a year ago, has clicked with this product, with the thousands of samples that we sent out to the retailers, the indoor garden centers, the hydro centers, sampling programs we ran through our website, the trade shows we went to, and we are now producing so much TERPS Plus. It's been very exciting to see it from inception, from being skeptical. Do we want to bring this technology into our lineup? To wow, it would have been a mistake if we didn't. The customers that are getting the value out of this and the way the product works, the aroma, the flavor, the terpene profiles are bustling. And I could say I'm very proud to have this product in our lineup.
That's awesome. And so similarly, right? I am an organic grower. Okay, I every input I've ever used has been organic, with the exception of TERPS Plus. And I struggled with this decision as well. Should I or should I not go to the dark side and using a salt? Would you call it a salt, or is
no?
It just,
I wouldn't call it a salt at all. It's not a salt.
Gotcha. It's not even a fertilizer.
Nope. There's actually it's
cool.
a 001 NPK. That means I wouldn't consider it. It's what we like to say. It's the technology and the method, the mode of action within the technology. Let's just say that what drives the technology is that it was figured out. How do I say this? The formula that's in here unlocks the glutamate pathway within the plant, right? So the plant has this glutamate pathway, and that is one of the keys to terpene production within any flower, whether it's cannabis or even a traditional, fruit or vegetable. And it acts as a turbocharger. Once it gets into the glutamate pathway, it allows it to just take off with terpene explosion with the technology. And a very common question is people will look at the bottle and not all the ingredients are on there, and that's because it's a proprietary formulation that was put together by the University of California, Los Alamos, and the other company that developed it. So we can't put everything on there, and I know that's a roadblock for some people, and I understand that. I get it, and I won't, ever, try and debate that. But the product.
So my response to and I had the roadblock too. It was I've never used an not organic input. Why am I going to do this? What is my rationale here? Well, the whole logic for growing organic in the first place is increased terpenes, right? That's why we all want to do this. That's why we think growing organic is going to get us that, right? At least that's my logic for doing it. If it's not yours, then why the hell are you growing organic, right? We like to think we're going to get better terps. It's all about the terps. So if you're telling me there's a single input that's not organic that I can use to help me achieve my ultimate goal, I'm on board with that. You know what I mean? For me, I grow organic for better terps. And if I can use this one thing that's going to just give me that much better, more oomph in my organic terps, then fuck yeah, sign me up. You know what I mean?
Knowing the background of the company and their ethics and morals too, I mean, if people understand that, then there really shouldn't be any internal conflict, and they should just, if it's something they're thinking about using, they should just use it.
Well, I mean, I'd like to say, so I agree. It'd be great. I want everyone to use it, but we respect we respect everyone's, their own methods. And if you're a true organic grower, then I'm not ever going to say, oh, you need to use it. But if you are looking for a terpene profile, or to take your genetics that either you've developed in your seed bank over years of cultivation, or you had some really genetics maybe that were gifted to you from decades ago, and you want the best out of that genetic, makeup, this product is going to do it along with the Photosynthesis Plus. It's staggering, the reports and the feedback that we get every day. We're blessed. as a company, you sell thousands of bottles, weekly to, consumers who use your product. You're open for, hey, it did this, and it's nothing. Thankfully, we are blessed that these products are amazing and that they work, and that we don't put out product just to try and make money as a company. That is not how we work. That's not how we operate. And we knew that the market would crave the benefits of the technology in TERPS Plus. So again, I will never try and convince someone who grows organically or all naturally. I have children. I know that sometimes we buy food. We want to make sure we're putting the best in for our children, and we don't want chemicals. I respect that so much. However, if you are looking to get the most expression out of your genetics with terpene profiles, with aroma, and with flavor, this product is going to do the job for you, no matter what scale you're growing at, whether you're in your basement or whether you're growing, 3,000 plants in a 10,000 square foot indoor facility in Michigan, right? It's going to get you results that you've probably never seen before, and we're hearing it every day, and it's super exciting.
One
Right
question
on.
I had about it is I know the Photo Plus you can't really overdo, right? We've talked about that. What happens if you go past the recommended dosage of TERPS Plus?
Yeah, because this stuff is crazy concentrated. Like, what is it, 1 to 2
use
mils
very
per
little.
5
I'll break it down even
gallons?
simpler. So you'll see, I saw before you were sharing with, with the website and the dosage rate. So we have 2 dosage rates for the TERPS
like
Plus.
a couple drops.
You have a real dialed in for a real intense super grower where you want X amount of product to touch the plant, each week. Then we have a simpler program where it's just 1 ml per gallon of water or 5 mLs per 5 gallons of water. And you will get tremendous results. If you push it, you could. We have testing. I could show you testing of how much further you could push the dosage rate and still be, you could push it. We stick to the dosage rate because it's great for the dollar and for the pocket and for the value. But you could push this product without harming anything 5 times. I mean, I'm not saying to do it. I'm just telling you in research,
Whoa.
you can. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
That's awesome.
I wonder if
you have a good question from 5 Cap. Do you hear this?
let me bring it up here.
Can you use fruit and veg, Photo Plus, Nourish, and Terps Plus all in the same feeding, or should you
Okay,
stagger
5
them?
Baked. Hello. Thank you for the great question. Number 1 is yes, you can. If you're going to use the Photo Plus with the veg and fruit and Nourish, what I would suggest to do is, because the veg and fruit is a combination of the Photo Plus and the Nourish in different, in different percentages to achieve different things within the plant. So if you're going to use all 3 together, you could just cut the Nourish L in half, because there's already some Nourish L in the fruit and veg yield enhancer. So you could use all 3 together. Just, I would cut the Nourish L in half. If you didn't, you're just wasting product. It's not going to harm anything. I'm just trying to save your wallet.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, I just love this. You can't go wrong.
No, you can't, and especially in like a lot of us are autopot people around here. We love our autopots. The thing that drew me to these products in general was like their solubility, the fact that like you don't need a mixer in your res. Like you dump them in there. I mean, I'm as lazy as it gets. I throw it in there. I forget about it. You know what I mean? I go about my day. And that's the kind of stuff this is. Like you really don't need to keep an eye on it. Now, I did use perhaps a little bit too much Nourish L, and I did get a clog. That's well documented on a previous episode. So that was on me though, and I think like maybe there is was I not using enough Photo Plus, or is there a certain point where like you just, there's too much humic acid, too much organic matter for those bacteria to like
the only thing with the Nourish L that we tell cultivators is to not foliar spray with it, because it is so concentrated with fulvic and humic acid that it could, and won't, and not saying it will happen every time, but there is the potential for leaf burn. So we always say for the Nourish just use it in your regular feeding in the res or hand water it in. However, Captain, I got to tell you, I have never heard, and this is a great question, and I'm going to bring this back to, my R&D team. I've never heard of the Nourish, clogging anything, to be honest with you. So I am happy that you told me this, because I want to get you an answer. I want to come back to you and tell you, hey, listen, this is where we went wrong, or this is, maybe it was another issue. I've never.
Maybe it wasn't quite mixed well enough.
Yeah, I was using the whole line, and I think it's someone mentioned it, the vegetable and fruit yield enhancer as well. That has like a similar kind of consistency to the Nourish L. I was using them both.
No, too much
Maybe
combined. But I'll look into it.
overboard.
Like, I'm so open to that. Like when we hear things like this, we dive into it. We want to see, hey, is this an issue we didn't know about? Is this something we didn't test? So I'm certainly going to bring this back to my tech team and
All right,
say, hey, yeah.
I'm glad I mentioned it.
Always mention it. I want to hear the good and the bad, but I want to hear the good and the bad. And that's what's also unique. We want to learn. We're always learning and evolving of our technology, and maybe there was something happened. Maybe there's a system that you were using that doesn't, but I've never heard it before. But we love hearing the good, and we love hearing, if there's negative feedback. So, that's something I'm going to bring to the table. But just so we don't segue off, if any of your readers, just on the TERPS Plus, because one thing a lot of companies don't do is go deep into the testing and the white papers. And with the TERPS Plus, it's hard for me to show you on my screen. It's probably, I don't know if it's mirror image, but we have all the information of what it works, how it's working within the plant. We have all the data and a lot of the white paper data that's all put on here, showing the terpene profiles, the density, from bud weight, from the THC, terpene, CBD, explains the mode of action, and a lot of companies don't put out the technical papers like this. So this is all on the website that anyone could download or read, just to get more comfortable with the product on the TERPS Plus.
Cool.
TERPS
man.
Plus can be used veg and
We want it touching the
flower,
plant
right?
week 1 through week 12. We want it in every week. We want the plant to touch to taste the TERPS Plus every week throughout the grow.
Interesting. That is interesting. It is such a unique product. I mean, really. And it drew me to the dark side.
And
I was like, well, fucking TERPS Plus. I need more terps. Who doesn't need more terps?
It's all about the terps.
Again, it's like a personal decision for people. Like if that's the reason you grow organic too, then I think it's worthwhile to explore this. Like, and I can say, after this recent harvest with I had a bunch of skunks and sour diesels, and like, I can't stop smelling. Like, this stuff is super, super terpy. Every single plant, and I'm not done trimming it yet either, but like every single plant that I've come across so far has been just winner
Captain,
after winner.
I'm glad you're seeing it.
It's awesome.
And we could, if any of the listeners want to try it, we do send out 4-ounce bottles of the TERPS Plus, because 4 ounces will treat a nice amount for you. So if any of if anyone listening now, if you go to I'm laughing because I don't mean to sound promotional, but this is a value. If you go to our website, microbelifehydro.com, and find the TERPS Plus on the page, there's a little field that the little form that you just enter your information. You give me your name and your address. You have to be in the continental U.S., and I will ship you this 4-ounce bottle for free on me. But I always have to say, while supplies last, right? So I have X amount made every month in the 4-ounce bottles, and so it's not like an unlimited supply. But you could go, and all you have to do is put in, your name, email address, phone number, and no PO box. We don't ship to PO boxes, and on us, we don't ask for a dime for anything. We just want you to try it because we know you're gonna love it, right? So
That's
so
awesome.
4-ounce bottle.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it is.
There aren't a lot of companies willing to do that.
Because they know it's like crack once you try this shit. Like, you're coming back. Once that bottle runs out, you are going back, like, for real.
First time's free, baby. First time's
That's
free.
right. First time's free.
For real. Now, all right, Mama Juana brought it up, and I wanted to kind of get into this a little bit too. Do you guys have a little more time? Because I think this is super
I'm here.
interesting.
Yeah,
I just as long as my earphone
that's
battery
not
don't go.
Mama
My phone's plugged in, but if these go, then I'll let you know. But right now we should be good.
It's all good. I love the cat cameos too. G3, by the way. But Mama Wana says
They're cats. I have no control over them.
thank you for this topic. Just went down the rabbit hole and how glutamate affects plants. Now you mentioned that is like the mechanism
Yes.
of action, right? It unlocks the glutamate pathway.
You see that chart?
And I brought
That's the chart. Yeah.
that graphic up
That's
on the website. Should I bring that up again?
Yeah, bring it back up. Let's talk
right.
about the glutamate pathway.
That
that a
is
little bit.
the magic right there. That process.
All right, hold on. Where is it at?
If you go to the site,
TERPS
go to
Plus.
the website. If you
I'm
go
on it.
to
More
references,
info.
I forgot what it says, or
It says learn more. All right, I got you.
what's on the top nav?
Bear
I'll get
with
it for
me.
you in a better spot. What does it say? Products, about us, contact us, resources. Okay, you got
Right
it.
here.
You got
This
it.
There you go.
Right?
Up,
Done.
there
got
you
it.
go. Brilliant.
You got it.
Cool. Let me get rid of this, and we are talking about the glutamate pathway.
And that's the glutamate pathway is tied to the plant metabolism. So that's really, you have the carbon fixation, and then you have the glutamate, which is taking the NH4, then the 2-hydroxide, the 5-oxoproline, and then that makes it into glutamine, and then it actually brings out the amino acids, proteins, lipids, carbohydrates. I'm actually, I put this together, but I don't know it by heart anymore. And and then
Nice
you get
chart. No,
the root development. So we put that little hair blower in the middle because it's looking like it's a supercharger for. That's where it happens. That's where the plant could express the terpene profiles in throughout the process.
So it's like a loop process of the glutamate and the what's NH4. I'm sorry, I'm not a chemist.
You have the NO3, the NO2, which makes the NH4, and that's really the increasing the efficiency of the glutamate synthase pathway. And I can even tell you this: if you want in the future, I could bring on one of my tech members. If you really wanted to dive into the science and take like a deep dive, I could come on with one of our R&D team members that really could get into the real chemistry side of it. I could do that.
Man, I don't know if that would do me any good. I failed chemistry class.
I'm totally here for it.
But I'd find it interesting. I swear. Just don't test me on it afterwards. No, this is this is the first I've heard of this.
Okay.
To be honest, and that's why, like you mentioned, it was like proprietary sort of research by, the University of California,
Correct.
Los Alamos. Like this is high level shit right here, brought to you by the same people who brought to you the nuclear bomb.
Unbelievable, right? But
that's how we know not to trifle.
well, that was one of the
with,
intriguing parts. And when we went back to the conversation like 20 minutes ago, of, do we do this? Do we not want to do this? And when you first see the players that were involved in developing this technology, it opens your eyes. Wow! To even have an affiliation with that is is wild, right? It's
wild.
great. It's wild, and we're looking back at that to know that I have the opportunity to even answer these questions, and some might not even be able to answer with really the technology behind it. It's a blessing, right? So if there's any questions that anyone has on the technical side, send them to, the Cultivation Conversation. They'll send me the questions and I'll get them answered.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I had a question. I'm not sure, you may or may not know this, but so this whole process seems to kind of put your plant in fast forward a little bit. Makes everything happen a little bit faster, a little bit bigger, more cell division. Does that shorten how long your plant will live? Does it make their lifespan?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't decrease. Now, it's a great question. You're thinking if you're speeding it up so quick, is it going to die? Is it going to die faster? Right? No. That's the first one. That's a dynamite question. That's the first time I've heard that one, and I love it. I think that's a very unique question. But no, the plants will not die off any faster than they would on their own.
Yeah, I just didn't know if they would
They
like
burn out
flower
like,
faster. If like generally, if a plant is supposed to go to 84 days, maybe it would go to 80 days.
No,
Maybe it would go to
nothing
75
like that. That's
days.
a great question. Great question. I loved it.
Interesting.
But no, that won't affect that.
But I did notice, like you said, the word overdrive. And I noticed, you're going to have to increase your use of fertilizer, whatever kind of, like you're going to have to give it maybe more light, maybe more, like you're going to get a bigger plant. You're going to need to accommodate it in all those other ways that we know.
Oh yeah, you have a bigger plant. You have more space it's taken up in the tent. More light, maybe that it's more watering. More light it's taking away from the plant that's underneath of it coming up. I mean, bigger plants, bigger problems, right? That's good stuff.
I love that.
Sounds like
of course, it's a great problem.
Like
bigger plants, bigger problems. But I mean, I mean, you're going to certainly increase the output of of the plant. So it's going to get bigger. And like you said, water more, and you might have you're going to have to up maybe some of your dosages to feed the plant. But bottom line is, I mean, it's so cool every day. Different messages. Brett, you won't believe it. I go, I do believe it. Brett, you won't believe it. I can't even smell in my room. The smell coming out of my tent, I can't control it anymore. It's never been like this before. The terpene profiles. I mean, it's looking back, I could laugh now saying, how did we even doubt wanting to bring this into the lineup? But we had legitimate reasons not to want to do it. But the fact that we were, identified by these two companies that developed the product to be the one that they said, we trust you to bring this out to the market. I mean, cool. It's great.
Speaks volumes for sure. Now, I totally forgot what I was going to say. It was something cool. No, God damn it.
Yeah, you can't do anything. You can't do anything.
Oh man, what can you do? I think this stuff is just is super interesting. We all love the microbes. We know the benefits of the microbes, and I think like this whole new kind of frontier of terps. Oh, I remember what it was. So the reason this is such a cool product, right, is because a lot of guys out there ain't organic growers, right? Especially like maybe commercial cultivators, maybe like stuff that's going to eventually end up in a dispensary, right? And if I know anything about my like local dispensary weed, is that it's severely lacking in terpenes. And that's, I think, a direct result of like how they choose to cultivate. It might even just be how they're forced to cultivate in that like sterile sort of, all salt-based stuff, and they're using the cleanse, and they're making sure like it passes like heavy metal testing and all. Like shit, I want more heavy metals in my weed. That's what gets you super high, right? No, I'm kidding about that, but. Like, my point is, a lot of people could benefit from this that like might not think about it, but in particular, the salt guys, I think, are gonna really like they need more terps. Let's be honest.
A few things, Captain, that come to my mind regarding what you just said. Number one, when it comes to the large scale cultivators that are either publicly owned or they are just owned by big business, you look at the power of one, right? Every cent that they could save when they look at their operational costs, whether it's the lighting, it's the equipment, it's the personnel, so if you could cut out one product that you don't think you need, they're going to say they think already they're saving money to the bottom line. So you'll have a lot of these larger cultivators, growing for dispensaries that do cut costs by not putting in microbes or maybe, cutting in other areas. And when it does get to the dispensary, it just doesn't hit the way it would if it was coming out of a home grow or that real craft cannabis. It won't hit that way. And that was our big message at this year's MJ BizCon, And it was all over all of our literature. It was all over our booth, and it was grow craft at scale. That's our message, right? And conveniently, I had, grow craft at scale, right? So here is a flower grown by a off the charts cultivator, Free Grow 8, and we all grown with microbe life products. And we used all this flower and all this imagery for our, I might go backwards here, for all of our literature. But that was the message to the large scale cultivators. Grow craft at scale. You're growing in tremendous greenhouses. You're growing in, a lot of acres outdoors, and you're not getting the results that the consumers want or the patients need, right? So we went there with that message. You could grow craft cannabis at scale. And that was the message for the larger growers who are using heavy salt, programs that, got off the microbial programs. They thought they just had one program that they could use. And that was our messaging. We want to be able to change the mindset of the mid to large scale cultivators, right? To know if they use microbe life products and if they had to use them, and just two, whether it was the Photo Plus combined with the TERPS Plus, they are going to get a much higher quality end flower. And that's the bottom line. We know that. And the ones and the cultivators that have implemented our system, they they'll say, Brett, how we didn't do this years ago, or how we were pushing back on microbes, or bringing more of a craft feel to a commodity sized grow now. It's they thank us, which is again great. We're very, very fortunate to be a company that we could get such positive feedback and know we're helping. Right? We are here to help. We are here to help the patients. Sure. We want the best medicine that could be produced. And, the most, product of flower that's being grown from licensed cultivators going to dispensaries nationwide are lacking what we're discussing. And that's the terpenes.
Well, I love that that's how, like, first of all, my response is craft cannabis at scale. Not going to happen. Not never. Not without. No,
not with that attitude.
It's a pipe dream, people. That's the point of the show. Is that like we all know that the tent home grower, the tent pirate is the final frontier of craft cannabis. Like that's really where the craft is happening, and I think it's just funny that the way you choose to market to the commercial cultivators is that like don't you you guys know those tent pirates are crushing you, right? Like don't you want more like weed like those guys? And they're like, actually, yeah, we really do.
No,
we know we don't have craft cannabis yet, but it's like if anything can help you get there, that's my point. Is like, use this one weird trick to give your plants super terpenes. It's just like, why the fuck would you not do that? No matter how you grow.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, so say we're sold on the Photo Plus and the and the TERPS Plus and and we're like, okay, we love micro light hydro and we want to go the next step to do more micro light hydro stuff. What product should we look into to round out our nutrients what do we look into next? What you guys have a ton of products. So you mentioned something about a core 5. So what's the next
so you
step
have
up?
The core 5. You have Photosynthesis Plus, you have TERPS Plus, you have the Nourish, you have Veg and Fruit Yield Enhancer, and Root Dip. That's what we consider the core 5 that no other company out there could produce, can't match our technology, and that's what put us, separated us from everyone else. So where the Photo Plus we want used all the time, the TERPS Plus you want used all the time. So the Photo Plus is all microbes. The TERPS Plus we just talked about, it's synthetic, but it's to increase the terpenes and explode the terpene profiles, aroma, and flavor. Then you have the Nourish. The Nourish there's no microbes in that bottle. It's all fulvic and humic acid. We mine that from the ocean. It's derived of thousands of years of marine and mineral life broken down already. So where you're going to feed a carbon, or a carbon source to the plant, it's usually coal-based. It's come from leonardite, and it takes a very, very extensive long time to break down to become available for the plant. The Nourish is already broken down fulvic and humic that is ready to be absorbed by the rhizosphere, your grow medium, and the plant. So there is no time for it to break down. And the neat part about it is it has 18, it's verified organic, and it has 18,000 parts per million of organic carbon. So where you have the Photo Plus is all microbes, the TERPS Plus is a synthetic product, the Nourish is no microbes, but it's fulvic and humic acid mined from the ocean, right? Then you have the Root Dip and the Veg and Fruit Yield Enhancer. Those two products are combinations of the Photo Plus and the Nourish. And at the different combinations that we've developed, it lends to different attributes in the plant. So where the Root Dip is amazing for dipping your roots in there for transplanting, you're going from the solo cup into the 5-gallon pot, you take your roots, you dip it in there. It's going to increase the plant's ability to uptake the nutrients. The microbes create a biofilm and seal around the root system, so it outcompetes pathogens and pests or pathogens and parasites from getting in the cut or the transplant. So you have a higher success rate of a healthy clone, or so the Root Dip is great for seed germination, for mother plants, cuts, clone all your clones for repotting. And then the Veg and Fruit is really great at the veg stage or the flush stage when you're flushing everything out. You're cleaning out the system, you're cleaning out the plant system, and you hit it with the Veg and Fruit Yield Enhancer. It has just enough amount of the microbes and the fulvic and humic acid that the plants need to go through that stage and still be very viable, filled with microbes and fulvic. So there are different opportunities to use it. Now, we have growers that will use the whole program. We'll have growers that will just use the Photo Plus. I'll have growers that will just use Photo Plus, and then they'll stop it. I could ask, and this is something we've been saying for years. I could be at a trade show. I could speak to an industry event. I was at MJ BizCon. I could talk to 10 growers, and I could ask them how they use our product. I might get 15 different answers on how they use our product from 10 growers, right? So it's very unique how it's adaptable to any regimen that you have, any way that you choose to grow. And then, so those are the core 5. Then the next one that we have, next product that we have that is dynamite is for fungus gnats. And it's labeled, it's labeled underneath another brand of ours that was originally, because it's EPA registered, it's a BTI, the Bacillus thuringiensis israelis. And when we first developed and came out with this product 20 years ago, it was for our aquatic market, for mosquitoes, because the same technology breaks down mosquito larvae. And when we took the investment to register that with the EPA in every state, that cost a lot of money. So when we came into this market, you'll notice on our website, it is the only non-branded microbe life product that we have. It's under our other brand. Because once we make one change to that label, if I put on there now fungus gnats, it's null and void. I can be fined in every state in the country. Every EPA regulator could fine us, so we can't make the change. But now we've sold so much, fortunately, of the BTI, which on there, to this market, we are now in the process of registering it so we could put a microbe life label on it. It can clearly say fungus gnats on the label. So if anyone has a fungus gnat issue and you've been to our product, I've seen this product on the website that Captain's showing right now. This is dynamite for fungus gnats. It's labeled for mosquitoes. It's labeled with another brand, but within the next 12 months, we will have this product labeled and for under microbe life branding, and with fungus gnat written right clear on it, that will be out. So any mixed messaging or confusion will be removed. I'm actually in the process of this right now.
That's great. Am I looking at that correctly? It's available to powder.
No, okay. So and that's one of the confusing parts about this product. A great question. So you see the gallon there is all liquid. Then you have the 2 other smaller bottles. It's a 2-ounce jar and an 8-ounce jar. Now here's the kicker, right? It's just more regulation. When you have a product that's registered by the EPA, there is a glutton of information, even though it's totally safe and can't harm anything other than the fungus gnats and the mosquitoes, right? Right? You have to put extensive amount of copy and documentation, the ocular, the dermal, the skin, if it touches this, if it gets in this, even it's just regulatory copy. So to fit all that copy on a small 2-ounce bottle would be impossible because you also have to have certain fonts. You have to, even for EPA registered products, you have to have certain size fonts that are that are legible to read. So we took the.
Can you even imagine the
the 2-ounce
tape?
bottle?
Oh my God.
That smaller bottle that you see, the smallest one there. Inside that jar is a 2-ounce bottle with an eyedropper. But we use the outer jar to have all the copy that the EPA requires us to put on there. The next size bottle inside that jar has an 8-ounce bottle of liquid in it, but we use the outer bottle to house all the information of the EPA. But for moving forward, we're now going to be working with like the pharmaceutical, like the peel labels, like you could peel it open, like on the like on the drug bottles or the pharmaceutical bottles. So exactly. So those are the type of labels we're going to put on for the new registered product, but it's all liquid. But because of that, that was the best solution we had years ago to say, okay, we can't fit all this copy on a 2-ounce bottle. What do we do? Right? So we put a bottle in the bottle. And I admit it's confusing. People say, "What is this? I don't understand." But that's more the backstory.
Listen, if you have a problem with fungus gnats, and I myself have had some serious ass fungus gnat issues, the BTI is the solution. Okay, the Bacillus thuringiensis.
You got it. Bacillus thuringiensis israeliensis. You got it, man. You nailed it.
All right. So I know a little bit. So that stuff is like, talk about a nuclear bomb. Okay, like this stuff annihilates. It goes after the larva specifically, like you said. So like, and that's one of the life cycles of the fungus gnats that's most important to target because they're laying a shit ton of eggs, right? So like, you cut that off and you got your fungus gnat problem very much under control. You pair it with like a couple sticky traps, and I find like a couple days and like these things
we could eradicate a heavy infestation in 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, it's not going to go away overnight. It's a natural product. It's a bacteria. It's a microbe. So if it's a heavy infestation, we'll take care of it. I can take care of it in about 2 to 3 weeks. But if you use it proactively, it's going to eradicate any fungus gnats. It's totally safe to use. It will not clog any lines. It will not harm anything. It's great for regular houseplants. Your regular houseplants that you just have, it's wonderful there too. And we've noticed we've been selling a tremendous amount of this product to the traditional, houseplant, community that want to get rid of fungus gnats. And that's something that's happened a lot over the last few years, which is actually pushing us to make the investment to label this for fungus gnats. So that,
I think that's a great investment. Honestly, I think it's very much worthwhile for you guys. Now we have a couple really good questions.
A lot of good questions. Yeah.
Can I use BTI and Photo Plus at the same time? What's up, Charles?
Charles Budkowski, use them together. They don't counteract one another. It's totally fine.
Cool. You're just adding a microbe into a microbe consortium that it doesn't already exist in. Is that?
Yeah. There's nothing within the BTI that will counteract or contradict, the Photo Plus. They work fine together. Totally fine. No.
Cool.
What about the other?
Fine.
What about all of
There's
your
not
other
one
products?
product I have that I would say will harm this.
Awesome.
Harm this. It won't harm it whatsoever.
Brilliant.
Just add it in, and again, it goes after the.
It actually the larva ingested, right? The larva ingested at a microscopic level, and it actually tears an ulcer and creates an ulcer within the larva, and they actually explode. You don't see it; they're microscopic. But
my God, that's like
it's very savage. It's very savage.
Badass.
I love it.
That's some Oppenheimer.
What are the questions you got?
There.
You said you had a few.
Let's see. Can you do seed to harvest grow with just microbe life products and water? Now, Matt, I would say yes if you have a good
that's
soil
the key,
to back it
right?
up.
That's the key.
Well, that also kind of led me into a question about another one of your products that we never really ever talked about is the all-in-one. If you could kind of glaze over that.
Okay, so you had the Core 5, then you had the mosquito control. Then the other products we have, I'll just run down real quick. We have a pH Up, a pH down, a dechlorinator. I don't spend much time talking about those because if I have 5 minutes to talk to a cultivator, a pH up is a pH up. A pH down is a pH down. Any competent company can make them, and we make them and sell a lot of it in our aquatic, for our aquatic brands, whether it's for aquariums, ponds, big lakes. So we know in this market there's a need for pH up, pH down, and dechlorinator. However, if I sat here and told you those 3 products are unique and dynamic to us than someone else, I could confidently come on here and tell you our microbes are above the other microbial companies out there. But if I sat here and told you in your network, oh, Microbe Life pH up and pH down is superior, no, they're all very similar technology. They could be phosphoric acid, citric acid, as the main component that delivers the recipe. But we have them. So if a retail store said, hey, we want to carry a complete Microbe Life line, we have it. If there's a cultivator that says, hey, I only want to use a Microbe Life brand, we have it. So yes, we have pH up and pH down dechlorinator. And then we have a product called Night Out 2, which is a Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter consortium that we make that's really specific for aquaponics, where you're taking the fish waste and using the nutrients to feed the plants. And so if you're a strict aquaponic user, and we have a nitrification microbe that that will nitrify and denitrify the aquatic environment within 24 hours. It takes nitrite to nitrate, turns it into ammonia gas, keeps the system very healthy. So we have that also, but that's really specific for aquaponics.
That's
that's Night Out 2. That should be listed there somewhere else.
All right, sorry.
I don't know if it's even
Night Out 2. Yeah, I don't see that on here.
Oh, it's probably up in the hydroponics.
Yeah, if you go to
aquaponics,
so that's that product, Night Out 2. So if you're an aquaponic grower and you have, you Nitrobacter, Nitrosomonas, nitrifying microbes, and convert nitrites to nitrates to keep the system healthy, we have that as well.
Oh, that's how interesting.
And then the other is we have the vitamins and amino acids, and we have the all-in-one. And those are they're supplements. They're not really replacements. It's if you were noticing that you were having deficiencies in some, parts of the stage of the plant, vitamins, amino acids, you think it's just a boost. It's just the boost. They're helpful. They work wonderful. And they're like,
because I noticed PK is low on it, but I wondered if somebody could use that as their base.
I wouldn't suggest. I'll be honest. I wouldn't suggest it. To use it as a base nutrient, it's a supplement. It's like you and I taking one of those vitamins that have everything in it, just to get a little bit of everything. If we weren't feeling, if there was a deficiency, so I wouldn't use.
So that's what you would say. That's use.
That's a
yes,
great way to
absolutely.
use it.
I wouldn't tell you and say use that product as the nutrient base. I wouldn't. That's just, hey, you want to give it a little extra boost of micro and macro nutrients and make sure that everything is, within the system that you want. That's a great way to deliver it to the plant and to your system.
I've been, you guys were nice enough to send me out a bottle. I actually just been using it for seedlings. It seems, because you really don't need a whole lot
not at all.
At that point. It seems to be pretty beneficial.
So this is not organic.
They're not organic. They're just synthetic products. I mean, there's nothing chemical. There's nothing organic that I could say about this product or the all-in-one. They would fall into the same boat, I would guess, as the TERPS Plus.
Well,
what about the vitamins and amino acids product? You kind of glazed over that one. I feel like we really, even as a show, haven't talked much about the benefits, especially of the amino acids and what it can do for nutrient uptake, particularly nitrogen. Just kind of wanted to glaze over that real quick. I know we're kind of over 90 minutes deep here, but
yeah, we
you
are.
guys just have so many fantastic products.
I'll be honest. I'm not rushing this at all. I am so cold. I'm in my garage, right? So I have this whole little setup, and I know I have it on a vertical screen, the vertical screen right now, so you can't see. My garage, I am freezing. If you saw me looking out, I was going to see if I had a sweatshirt anywhere to throw on. So
Oh, it's,
Oh my gosh, go get a blanket.
Yeah,
No, it's
We'll
okay.
wait
take
for
take 2
you.
minutes,
No,
come back. It's
I'm
all
just
good.
being honest. I'm an open book.
Really?
I'm freezing, but no. So no,
We
no
can stall
stalling.
for
I
you,
love it.
brother.
So the vitamino acids. It's really you use it twice a week, and it'll help you with brighter, faster blooms, and it just gives you a little extra oomph. I wouldn't use vitamins and oh, and by the way, we register this also in every state. The state of California won't even recognize these products in the state of California. We can't even sell these in California, not because they're not good, just
Holy
because
shit.
California doesn't even recognize some of these products to be what was I forgot the initial pushback. It was something. Now I'm going back years when I first registered these products, and I forgot it was something like they said the vitamins and amino acids. Yeah, it was the vitamin and amino acids. They said it wasn't good for the soil. And we said, we understand that, but we have to apply it to the soil for it to be uprooted, uptook, and the nutrient uptake by the plant. So that was one of the biggest things. We said, we understand it's not going to benefit the soil, it's to benefit the plant, but the soil is the pathway to get it to the plant. And I remember, so it just again state regulation. So some of the like the vitamins and amino acids and the all-in-one, they're supplemental and they're not available in every state either. But on the website, we have a chart that shows you what products are accepted in every state also. So not only will it take out the products originally, like if you're like you say, if you're in the state of California, it'll show you on the product tabs only what you could purchase in California, but you could see our state registration chart just to understand what products are and what are not available. So if you go to available states and scroll down, it'll show you what's registered or not. So if you look at California, you'll see the red. I can't.
Oh yeah, it's
And then if
it's all red.
So if you see like the special,
You guys are supposed to
right.
be cool guys.
Yeah, their vitamins and aminos is red, and so is Arizona,
they don't.
Georgia,
And when we go to
Idaho.
and when you go to register it, it just it doesn't make sense to jump through all the hoops to get the product registered in those states. It doesn't make sense.
Man. Well, I'll tell you what. Honestly, it's impressive the the transparency you guys have as a company, the effort you go through to post all of this info for the consumer, like to make it all like just the effort to get your products into the states and the hoops they make you jump through to get there. It shows that you really believe in this stuff and you truly believe it'll benefit the end user, which it does.
It does.
That's why we're talking about it, for Christ's sake. Like, if you haven't tried it, give yourself to go right ahead and buy some Photo Plus. That's your gateway drug to this the Microbe Life Hydro world.
And what I could say for your listeners, I mean, I know we're probably coming down to the end of the show. I don't know what the time limit is for you folks, but after this, you could definitely
going soon.
We're pushing the boundaries.
definitely offer some giveaways, to your network afterwards. I will certainly support, what you give away. So however you choose to do it, let's give out a grand prize winner, a 32-ounce bottle of every product we have. Let's give out some, to 4, secondary winners, a 32 ounce of the Photo Plus and the TERPS Plus. I'll send out. And then, for your listeners that want to go on to the website, they can get a free 4-ounce bottle in the continental U.S., shipped from our labs in Florida to you. All you got to do is, go to the website, go to the TERPS Plus page. You'll see the fields right there, and we'll get those out, asterisks, while supplies last.
Nice.
Thank you.
well,
Oh my goodness,
thank you
so
very much.
generous.
Details on it.
No, this is great.
Yep.
Yep,
I
stay tuned for
love
that.
to be in a forum like this to speak to like-minded growers, cultivators that care about the plant, their genetics, putting out the best possible medicine they can if you're a caretaker, and to have, this cultivation community is very lucky to have the three of you. You make it fun. You make it interesting. You're all unique in your own way. You ask great questions. And I think what you bring to the table is really something we need more of. So I thank the three of you for continuing not just to bring, attention to microbe life, but to growing clean medicine, to growing the best possible, flower you can, and bringing us, bring our community together. We need more of it. And I think what the three of you are doing is a tremendous job. So you should all, I hope the three of you realize the good that you're bringing to the cannabis community.
Oh,
No,
thank
no
you.
flunk. I mean that.
Thank you very
I
much,
mean
Robert.
that
I appreciate
genuinely,
it.
because I've been doing this for many years at this point, and you come across some people that maybe you walk away and saying you feel disingenuous. They're not here really for the good of the plant. And I knew from the first time I met the three of you, and when the first time we were on previously, that you are the real deal. So thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, that we're just plant lovers, like that's end of the day. We all want to grow the best plants and use the simplest, best products.
Well, we got you on that side.
Yeah, like we don't just invite anybody on here. Like we want to talk about products that we believe in and that we use. You know what I mean? So it's awesome to have you on here.
It was cool to hear.
I believe it was Scott we had on once. He's awesome. He's a wealth of knowledge as well. It was funny during the pre-show. He was a little like subdued, right? And I'm like, oh man, this is boring as fuck. But he woke right up, and it was like unreal. Like it was one of our best shows ever. And I think this one.
Yeah, no, Scott is dynamic when it comes to explaining really the technology. I could talk about the products, tell you why they're different, why they're better. I could go into how it's going to affect the plant, but Scott's really dialed in, right? Scott really is a unique mind to bring the technology and plant and explain it together. So, I'm glad that you saw that value with him.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
You were awesome too,
Thank you so much for being
G3.
here.
I appreciate you, G3.
And so great to be here. Please come back and talk to us again.
And
this is just
I'd love to. And we could even bring a tech person on the next time if you really want to get scientific. I mean, either we're all going to fall asleep together, or we're all going to.
I would love to try that. I honestly would. But listen, are you on our Discord? Did I send you an invite? If not, I will.
Send me the invite.
That's my point to tell everyone out there. If you're not in the Discord, come on over. If you need an invite, ask any one of us. We'll get you in. It's just forum of like-minded people. Think like an old AOL chat room. That's basically what
like this. A little
is.
sign up before we adjourn. My personal email, which I'm not giving out, but my personal email to this day is still my AOL email. I will never give it up. I got it in 1993 and 1994, and every personal email I send is at AOL.com. And I love it now because I'm not that old, but I'm not young anymore. Oh. And when I go and I have to give that email to someone and sign, and they go, AOL, really? I go, yeah, right. I'm still on AOL.
Hey, you got one of those free CDs.
That's right.
In the mail,
AOL. Yeah, that's right. So I still use AOL. Little info on me.
That's awesome, man. Well, he's even cooler than I thought.
Don't tell my kids won't agree, but thank you.
Shit, I respect it.
Everyone, make sure you come join the Discord. That's probably where our giveaways will be for all of those amazingly generous prizes from Microbe Life. So,
agreed.
Thank you again.
Right.
And come hang out with us.
And if anyone has any questions for me, you can just go to our DM at Microbe Life Hydro. Microbe Life Hydro is the Instagram handle. If you send us a DM, I usually answer it within 24, 48 hours. Or you can go right to the website, microbelifehydro.com, click contact us, send your info in, and we'll respond there also. So that's it. We're available to all of you.
Awesome. Oh, you're the best, man. Really, one of the coolest companies in the community.
I'll end it with this. I'll put on.
I mean it.
I'll put this on.
Look at that thing, dude. Where'd you get that?
This company was on Shark Tank. I couldn't believe it, and it took me 3 months to get the hat, and here it is.
Oh my god!
Yep.
It's worth it.
So
worth every penny, my friend.
I'll end with that.
I need a captain hat version of that.
I'll send you the link later. Yeah. So that's that. So thank you everybody, and thank you to all the listeners. I appreciate all of you.
Yep. That was you stole my final thoughts, my friend, and thanks everyone who joined live. and everyone who will listen, remember to support us if you can. We have a Patreon if that's something you're willing to do and capable of. Helps us keep this thing going. So, yeah, guys, thanks again. We'll see you next week. Till then, don't get caught.